Good morning, members. It is 9:15 on Thursday, October 1st. Happy new month. Let's start it off on a good foot. So we have SPY slightly up here. You can see we've been riding this key 100 period moving average support on the 5-minute chart. That level is currently 191.93. So we rode that. We were facing the 20 period moving average resistance, and just now we have gotten above that resistance level while maintaining the support. So good sign so far. We'll see how the next 15 minutes shape up before the open, but we need to see the bulls set a higher high over this little peak here, which was 192.19. Very close to that level right now, so we will see if they can manage to pull that off before the open. That would be a bullish indication, but we are definitely watching the 100 period moving average support of 191.93, 200 period moving average support of 191.29. Those are the must holds here in the morning to stay bullish. We are watching SUNY in relation to SPY. As we know, they trade somewhat hand in hand, and we have SUNY here with a similar pattern, up pre-market, lower highs, trying to turn the 20 period moving average into support. The 20 period moving average is 718, and we are currently have a pretty wide spread, 715 to 722. I want to point out that we had hemp news again this morning, pointing out the North Carolina House and Senate vote. So we'll see if we see any kind of interest or volume coming from that press release. Also keeping my eyes on Volkswagen, VLKAY. They had a nice bullish day yesterday, closing at the high of the day, seeing a bunch of pullback here this morning. So definitely being cautious with that one, but having it on the radar. So some other plays, we have Apple that is struggling after closing below 110, which was a key support level. And since then, we are now in a bearish downtrend. Resistance is the 20 period, 108.90. Watching the low of a couple days ago. Checking out the daily chart, Apple is certainly in more trouble than many other stocks we're looking at. If we lose a low of 107.86, it will signal more downside to potentially 105 for Apple. Let's look at Netflix. Netflix key 200 period moving average support, that is 102.08. We are bouncing off that level right now. Resistance is the 20 period moving average resistance, 102.72, and the 100 period moving average resistance of 103.22. So I expect to bounce around between the 200 period moving average support and 100 period moving average resistance, and once we get close above or a close below, that will indicate which direction we're going to be heading. PCLN, not much pre-market action to look at, but flipping over at the daily chart to look at some key moving averages, we have some room to go here. The 50-day moving average is 1262. We just traded at 1235, so just below the level we closed at. There is not much resistance until that moving average, so we could see a nice green day for PCLN. Looking at Tesla. Actually, let's look at Amazon and then Tesla. Amazon had lost its 100 period moving average support, is currently trying to gain it back. That level is 509.68, a must hold level. We have the 20 period moving average resistance at 511.19, and the 200 period moving average support is down at 506. That is the must hold level. We have 50-day moving average resistance at 519.74. So if the bulls can muster a little bit of a run here for SPY and the markets in general, we could see a little bit of movement before hitting any moving average resistance on the daily charts. Let's check out Tesla. Tesla, we know, has strong moving average resistance on the daily chart in the low 250s. So we are in a channel right now, bounced off the 100 period moving average support, 246.64. And the 200 period moving average resistance is 247.93. So expecting that channel to be held as well for the morning, and we will see a break above or a break below support or resistance, which will indicate the direction we should be heading this morning. Facebook, downtrend, very clear downtrend in this channel as well. 200 period moving average support of 89.37, 100 period moving average resistance of 89.90. So these are all key levels to watch here in the first 15 minutes of trading to see how the price reacts to the channel that it is in. The support and resistance is clearly defined, and we will see a breakout or a breakdown. TTPH, not a whole lot this morning. We saw 750 was support for 2 previous days, but yesterday we closed below it, so that was bearish. But we do have a bullish MACD cross on the daily chart, and we have a slowly tightening channel. Looks like we might be forming some support very slowly, but need to close above 750 as soon as possible to get the bulls to become interested again. It seems the bullish volume has completely dried up, and we'll see if any kind of momentum can get the volume to show up. RJet, nice pre-market here, 200 period moving average support of 581. Looking at the daily chart, I know we were broke out above the upper Bollinger Band. Yesterday we had a high of 587, so we're currently trading above that. The high of the day before was 628, so 628 resistance. Keep your eye on the upper Bollinger Band, which we bounced off of as support yesterday. That level is going to change. It's currently 538, but that's going to change right at the open. So note where the upper Bollinger Band is on the daily chart. Watch 581 support and 628 is resistance. DIA. I'll check back in with SPY before the open, Peggy. DIA, we've got 163, pretty flat trading range, slightly uptrend. 20 period moving average support is 162.82. Looking at the daily chart, currently at 163, which puts us right below the middle Bollinger Band resistance of 163.27. 10-day moving average knocked the price down yesterday. Currently trading above that 162.79, and that will open lower as well. So 163.27, high of the day yesterday was 162.75, so a little bit of a gap up, not much. After 163.27 resistance, we have the September 25th high of 164.43. WLL, nice uptrend pre-market, 1575. We've got the 20 period moving average support of 1541. Checking out the daily chart here, we had a green candlestick yesterday. We are still holding the support from the market crash, and we will see if we can get some bullish confirmation today. The high was 1531, so we're going to gap open. 10-day moving average resistance is 1633, but that level is going to drop with the open as well, so make sure you note that level. Looking like 16 will be resistance as it was support. And WLL could string together a nice little bullish move today. Looking at UGAZ, downtrend pre-market down to 603. So natural gas is certainly getting beat up. Looking at the daily chart here, we're going to see a big old gap down. The low yesterday was 621. We are going to be watching natural gas for a bounce. I did that video chart. If you didn't see it yesterday, check out the videos I posted and covered natural gas, which is 2 big red days, and after another gap down we'll be approaching oversold, but we're in new low territory, so certainly worth being cautious. EMES, $692, not a lot of pre-market volume. Looking at the daily chart, nice bullish reversal candlestick yesterday. The high was 685, so a little bit of a gap up. We're going to have resistance at 723 and 8 even. Looking like that could be a nice bouncer. Please keep your eye on it and let us know if we see some upward movement. That is definitely one where I'm going to pause for a second and write it down. EMES. You know I like my bouncers. Thanks for pointing that out. I already covered Netflix and Sunni. I'll go over them quickly before the bell if no one else has any other ones. ASNA, $13.91, not a lot of pre-market volume. We are looking for a close above $14 at the end of the day. If we see a break above $14.06, it will pique our interest for some trading before the end of the day. So let's check back in with SPY really quickly, and then I'll check back in with Sunni and Netflix. So still maintaining this 100 period moving average essential support, though we do have the 200 period below at 191.30, and 191.94. 20-period moving average support is 191.97. We'll see if that can start to drive the price up. And if we break the high back here of 192.19, it will be a good start leading into the bell. We have 5 minutes until that happens. Let's check back in with Netflix and SUNY really quick. Netflix has support of 102.10, 200 period, and 100 period resistance of 103.22. So keep your eye on this channel. If we break below and start closing below the 200 period support, it will be bearish. If we break above the 100 period and turn that into support, it will be bullish. SUNY watching 717, 20 period moving average resistance. We also saw 717 was resistance yesterday, so a key level to turn into support. 706, 100 period support. 696, 200 period support, but in a downtrend here pre-market, so need to start seeing some support and some higher highs coming in for the bulls. And VAX 724, we got 100 period moving average support of 722. That is also the 20 period moving average support. Let's check out how we're looking on the daily chart. 724 was the last traded price. We had a bullish reversal gravestone doji form yesterday. Closed at 707, so we're going to open a little bit higher. High of the day was 788. That's going to be resistance. Watch the lower Bollinger Band. That knocked the price down and closed below it. That's going to drop with the open. It's currently 729. We'll open lower, and that might start as support if we open at 724. And that will be a key level to keep an eye on as well. SPX. Whenever I cover SPY, it is the same thing as SPX. So we use SPY to gauge the market, but I will certainly check out SPX right now. Key support of the 20 period 1915. We're currently above that. You can see we are trading up around the close. The high of yesterday before the close was 1920.53. So we'll see if we can set a higher high. That would obviously be a bullish indicator. Let's look at SPX on the daily chart. Again, we cover SPY to get a gauge of the market, but essentially the same thing. SPX 10-day moving average resistance is going to be the first hurdle, currently 1934.62, and that's going to drop with the open today. So keep your eye on the 10-day moving average. If we can see a close above the 10-day moving average, it will be more momentum than expected. A lot of people are thinking this is just a little pop in a overall bearish downtrend. So if that is the case, I would expect a rejection from the 10-day moving average or the middle Bollinger Band resistance, which is 1945.93. So whenever I'm covering SPY, it is essentially the same thing as covering SPX. We just look at SPY because it's a trading vehicle, much cheaper obviously, and you can buy options on it or commons on it. So we got 2 minutes until the open here. Let's check back in with SPY, which is doing essentially the same thing as SPX, and we still see this very tight trading range for the past hour plus, trying to hold this support. So first 15 minutes is going to be wild as always, and we will be waiting for the markets to settle down and give us indication on their direction. Hemp thoughts, we have news today pointing out the House and Senate passing industrial hemp and legalizing it in North Carolina. They did point out in the press release that it still needs to be signed by the governor, so that is going to still have hesitation for many traders. We will be watching volume. 5.3 is resistance. That would be bullish if we break it, and we will see very likely, very easily, if we have someone selling into this news again. 2 days ago we saw a press release come out. We saw increased volume, over 3 million shares traded, and definite 5.3 resistance, and it was apparent someone was definitely selling shares into the news. They were doing it in a responsible way by keeping the shares on the ask and letting buyers come to them rather than selling at the bid and knocking down the share price. So we're going to keep watching that closely. Ideally, we have the governor sign it as soon as possible so we can erase anybody's doubt in any doubt in anybody's mind, but we'll see. I'm going to pause here for a second as we transition into the open because our videos are getting really long and we need to break them up.